For those of you who do not know me very well, my husband Gordon passed away 2 years ago, but he still comes to see me, so that's a good thing. My third book, Froggle Wogs, is a children's book of frog poems. It's supposed to be coming out around Christmas time. And since today is Halloween, I thought it only fitting that we talk about ghosts. What do we really know about ghosts? What are ghosts? Are they to be feared like the movies show, or like Casper the Friendly Ghost, or like Gordon who sits on my bed at night? It just depends. Sometimes it's the cat and sometimes it's Gordon. Ghosts are energy, pure and simple. When they're in the body, in the physical body, we call them humans. When they have detached from the body and they go back to spirit, we call them ghosts. Sometimes they're energy beings of people that we know and love. Sometimes they're people we don't know that have died in a place that we now inhabit. Sometimes we see them, sometimes we don't. Sometimes just a little wisp at the back or the corner of your eye will tell you a ghost is coming by. Sometimes just a wavering in the air. Sometimes just a sense that there's somebody watching you. We don't always see them with our physical eyes, but they're not to be feared. How many times that we've heard that we're energy, and energy can neither be destroyed nor created, that it can only be transformed. So if we truly are energy, and that energy is inhabiting a body, what happens to that energy when it leaves the body? We're told that energy returns to the source of God, back to God, until it's ready to inhabit another body. And while in that other state, without a body, we do the same things in so-called death that we did in life. We learn about love, or we teach about love. Those are the only two reasons we come down to the earth plane to begin with, to learn about love and to teach about love. So we may choose any number of paths to get to that place. We might be a law enforcement officer, or a healer, or a mother, or a father, or a grandparent. We might be a teacher. Whatever we choose, even a cleaning lady can show love or teach about love in a way that we hadn't expected. But whatever path we choose, that's what we're doing. We're learning about love and we're teaching about love. So why do we see ghosts? Energy takes many forms. Let's say you're outside on a nice warm day and a cool breeze brushes by, or a butterfly comes flitting by. Or maybe you're thinking about somebody and then the phone rings and it's that person on the phone. Are these ghosts? No, those are coincidences. A ghost is the soul energy left over after the body has gone. Nothing more, nothing less. Sometimes maybe we may see one, but most of the time they're just around us on the other plane and we can't see them or feel them. But we know they're there watching us just as we might be watching them. They seem to be attached. Bill Groves has talked about orbs that have come to his property. They seem to be guarding a particular place on the property. Sometimes he sees it, sometimes he doesn't, but he knows they're there. When Gordon and I were getting married, we went up to Cleveland because his brother was going to be best man. And as he was putting the ring on my finger, he looked up and he said, "Your mother and father and grandmother are here." And happy tears flowed down my face because I was so glad that they could attend our wedding and be with us on that joyous occasion. I had missed them terribly. And just to know that they were there made me happy. There are other times that I can't see them, but he could see them. And he would tell me who was here, who was not here. And it always brought me comfort to know that my family was around me, even if I couldn't see them. About 3 weeks ago, a friend of Gordon's had come to visit me. He and his wife hadn't been to see me in about 2 years. And we were talking about things. He had written a book with Gordon a few years back. And so there was a connection between the two of them. And all of a sudden he looked at me and he said, Gordon's here. And I was so glad. I couldn't see him, but he was sitting in the chair next to me, listening to the conversation as if he was part of the visitation. And it was so nice to know that he had come down just to listen to Tom and Sarah talk about the book and talk about what their lives were like now. And was I afraid? No. Was I concerned? No. I was glad that he was there and he was enjoying the visit just like anybody else would. Another time, my cleaning lady came into the house and she decided that she was going to change the bag in my vacuum cleaner. And so she asked me where the bags were and I told her where they were. And she said, I can't find them. And all of a sudden, the box of bags fell out of the closet at her feet. And she looked up and she said, thank you, Gordon. Gordon knew that she wanted the bag of vacuum cleaner bags and she didn't see them and he knew where they were, so he gave them to her. He was very helpful like that. Anytime somebody needed something, he was right there. So I was very glad that even though he's been gone physically 2 years ago, he's still very much with me. He's still very much with the house. He's still very much with anybody that's connected to him. So ghosts can be very helpful and they can be willing participants in our lives, even if they're no longer in the body or on the physical plane. But what about the malevolent ghosts that we see on television and the movies that scare us and make us think that they want to kill us? Are they real? No. Most of the time, it's a fiction that the television writers have provided for us to scare us for Halloween. Just because we can't see ghosts doesn't mean that they aren't here with us. You've all heard of battlefields littered with slain soldiers or graveyards, even hospitals. Gordon used to say he couldn't even drive past a cemetery without getting a few riders. They somehow knew that he could send them to the light, and he often did. But anywhere someone has died, that spirit can linger. Perhaps that person's work here on earth is not finished yet. Perhaps that task may not ever get done, or he doesn't want to go up to the light for one reason or another. However, in nearly 1,000 regressions that I have done, personally, when a person dies, he automatically goes back to his source, which is the light. I have never experienced one person going to hell, or at least Dante's version of hell. That was created to control people by fear, that if they didn't do what the church wanted, then their souls would be damned. But it doesn't happen that way. Of God, back to God. They all go back to the light that created them. And there they stay, healing, learning, and helping until there's time to be reborn into a new body for more experiences. It's only when they are visible in the earth plane that we call them ghosts. They're spirits, just like all of us, only they're no longer in a physical body. We know they're around, just as they're aware of us. But on Halloween, or All Hallows Eve, the veil is the thinnest between the real world that we inhabit and the spirit world. So it's easier for spirits to come through at this time of the year. So if you feel a cold breeze, or hear a bump in the night, or experience something unusual, it may just be someone coming to visit you. Welcome the spirit who has crossed the veil. Don't be afraid. If grandma wants to sit in her rocking chair and rock and you can't see her, that's okay. It's a place that she knew well and loved. Now she's here, she's rocking. It's okay. There are all kinds of loved ones coming back to visit you. If you weren't afraid of them when they were in the physical body, why would you be afraid of them now? Remember, most of the time, it's about love. In Mexico, they celebrate the Dia de los Muertos, or Day of the Dead. That's the day when they plan picnics on the graves of their loved ones, because they believe at that time of the year, the loved ones can actually visit with them. So it's kind of a reunion for them. It's a holiday. They don't fear the spirits. They make it a family reunion. And this corresponds to the Catholic holiday of All Hallows Day or All Saints Day on November 1st. So the day before is Halloween. So happy Halloween, everyone. And now I'd like to take some of your questions about your ghostly experiences. Anybody? Oh, come on, you all live with ghosts all the time. Somebody has to have had an experience. Yes?
Irene Douglas, who, as I understand, is online right now, she and her husband visited me a couple of times, and once they spent the night and stayed in my bed. And I stayed out in the papa. Irene said she couldn't sleep all night because they were just marching through. And you've seen the picture of my house with the solid doors.
Right.
The thing is that I find very interesting. I don't experience it. I hear bumps and grinds and noises in the house at night. But it was like I blessed the house when I got there. And after that, they're kind of like, well, this is your place, and they let me stay. They give you no disturbance at any time. So I find that very interesting. Other people like Eileen come over, and they kept her up all night long.
She might be more sensitive to the spirits, or the spirits might have made you a friend, but they didn't recognize her as a friend.
That's my fault.
Eileen wants to know, do they respect our privacy?
If what?
They respect our privacy.
Because they don't have bodies, they don't recognize that we need privacy. But they don't really watch us as we go to the bathroom or as we go to bed or anything like that. They're just in the same location as we are. They're just in another plane. So yeah, they do respect our privacy. Yes. Have you ever been watching television and then out of the corner of your eye, you see a movement over here? Then you're seeing spirits. So just talk to them, say welcome. Welcome them, let them know that you appreciate their being here with you. And that if they can show themselves, to show themselves more. No, not.
Ever come across
I'm
people who are bad when they were here, they're not necessarily good now because they're not here, or they're now in spirit. Does the same thought kind of permeate their ideas, at least still in the negative mind? Does that make sense what I'm asking you?
Well, just because a person was a biker babe here and has died in an accident doesn't mean that she's any smarter on the other side. But that doesn't mean that she wishes you any harm. So they've come back to either learn about love or to teach about love. So their job, if you want to call it a job, is to let you know that they're here for you, to help you, to love you. So there's nothing to fear by the fact that they don't have a body. Yes, Kim.
Hi. I often have had spirits turn up at the end of my bed about 3 days after they've died.
Mhm.
And it's always 3 days. And it can, many times it's a loved one of a friend and they want me to give a message, which I really don't like to do, but I will. But I wondered, is there some significance to 3 days?
Yes. It takes about 3 days for the spirit to totally disconnect from the body. That's why you don't want to bury somebody before the 3 days are up, to give them a chance to get out of the body, to know that they're dead, to know that the body has died and that they can go on. And they may come to you for giving a message to their loved ones because you're the one that can hear them.
Easier to get through because of their emotions
Yes.
right now. And I'm like, really, go tell them yourself.
No, so
Like, no, no.
congratulations, you're what we call a crossover guide.
Oh, okay.
I've got Bobby can come over here. Thank you. On a different way of looking at it, Craig and I have always rescued dogs, such as Charlie right here. And they come from any unknown situation. They could be from California, they could be, we've had some come as far as away as China, and they've all come at a different time in our life. And I feel like for a specific reason. And we have 2 Newfoundlands that when I look at that dog's face, I know there is some human inside his face. I just know it. And the way he looks at me and stares at me, it's like if a dog could talk, I know that dog would talk. And I really do believe that the spirits, when they go and come back to visit us, they don't always have to be invisible or, like you said, out of the corner of your eye. They can manifest themselves in the form of a person or in the form of a dog or a cat, or at least that's my belief. And I was wondering what your thoughts are on that.
Well, in all the regressions that I've done, I have never found any transmigration of the soul.
Oh, okay.
A human soul always goes from one human into another human.
Okay.
However, that doesn't mean that dogs can't be almost human, because they watch you and they learn from you. So they respond to how you act and they take that emotion on. So what you're looking at might be a reflection of yourself or your husband.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for explaining that.
Sure.
He's tangling his.
I think that my mother has visited me a few times after she passed. Right after she passed, I had to stay in a temporary place waiting for the estate to settle. And I had her artwork in the small apartment. And so anyway, every day I'd wake up and the artwork that was hers was always tilted, like she moved it.
Mhm. She's letting you know she was there.
Yeah, I felt her presence. And then I moved to Colorado after that and went in and renovated a condo and kind of gutted it out and put everything, redid the whole place and put up her artwork. And it was several months later, but I was in bed one night and I felt this real cold air go over me. And it was like somebody with ice cold breath was breathing on me. And the next morning, one of the dolls that she made me was moved, literally moved from one place to another.
So you've had visitations.
Pardon?
You have had visitations.
Yes, I really believe that she's been with me many times.
But they're not malevolent visitations. They're just letting you know that they've been there. And that's wonderful that you can recognize that.
The other thing I wanted to know is when I lived in Franklin before, one of my bosses was killed in a fire. And during the night, I had a dream, and he came to me in the dream, and I woke up the next day feeling the most incredible feeling of peace. And I was wondering if they can come to us in a dream to just,
Absolutely, they can, because they can read your thoughts if you're broadcasting. And at night, when your defenses are down, they're more likely to pick up what you're thinking or seeing.
yeah, it was pretty amazing because I felt like he came to me to tell me he was doing well.
And that must have brought a lot of peace to you.
I felt like everything had lifted off of me when that happened, yeah, because it was a tragedy.
Hmm.
But I didn't feel that way after that. Yeah.
Well, you know, so many people that have died of COVID are coming back now as babies. And they're coming back as spirits. And they're around us all the time because we don't have an opportunity to not be aware of them. So we should be seeing more ghosts, and we should be seeing more very positive children coming through the earth plane. There was somebody over there.
I have a few things, but I probably don't need that, but
Oh,
who
you
knows?
do, because we
I'm
have
old
people on-
teacher, so
We
I,
have people on Zoom who
Oh,
can't
on
hear you without a
Zoom.
microphone.
funny you should talk about dogs, because dogs have beautiful spirits of their own. They're not human as far as I can see, but they have that soul that will continue. And about 2 months ago, I was asked to heal a dog, and I don't heal dogs normally. But the woman was crazy about the dog, she and her husband, 14 years old, pit bull. Well, I'm a cat person, so I love dogs, but I was very hesitant to visit a pit bull that had a tumor and work on him without him knowing about me. But the dog was totally amazing. It knew that I was helping it. It would actually put its hand, in my hand, it put its head and rested and turned it so I would be able to work on the spot more. And I tried to also mention to them that everyone has a time. And to me, it felt that it was the dog's time, but just to make it easier on the dog. And I woke up this morning, 2 hours earlier, and I knew something had changed. And so I contacted the lady by text. This is in California. And I said, is everything all right? And this was, I waited to a respectable time, maybe 6 o'clock their time, 9 o'clock ours. And she said, well, Roxy just passed. And she was very, very upset about the whole thing. So I texted her and told her that the dog is still going to be with her. That dog is not going to leave until that couple leaves. And you could feel it. You could feel the warmth and the beauty of the whole relationship. But moving on to something else, you talk about the 3 days. When my brother died, my other daughter was sitting at the couch, and all of a sudden the door opened, shut, then the back door opened and slammed, and my brother had died 3 days beforehand. That was his job, to clean the house and to go out and change the cat litter and all those things.
Mhm.
And then about 3 months later, I went to my other daughter's house where he used to live. We had renovated it for her. And the dog, or the cat, was on edge. You could see the hair standing up. And the little boy, Eddie, who was I think about 3 at the time, was just so nervous. And Jesse said, I think somebody's been in the house. I'm so scared. I think there was a robber. And I could feel the difference in the house. And then I realized it was my brother, and he was still transitioning. He still had a little bit of fear. He didn't know how to control his energy. So what he did was go in the house and make it scary. So I said to him, you can come here all you want. This used to be your house. You can be with them. You can be with us. Just don't scare the little ones, and just try to control your energy. After that, it was fine. After that, it was beautiful. When my mother died, she and I were so close. I told the hospice people, I don't need to talk to her now. I can talk to her afterward. No problem. Everybody else was getting messages. They were getting the cardinal, the little bell that she promised. I was getting nothing. So I was rather upset. She died on Christmas Day, and I was thinking, what's going on? What's going on? I don't get any message. On my birthday, on the piano that she had bought me in time payments when I was 12, was a birthday card. signed by her, given to me 3 years ago. Nothing was out, no birthday card, everything was packed away. There was no way it could have gotten there, but it was there. Just
I-
little messages.
I got a Valentine that way. All my Valentines were put away, but all of a sudden there was one that showed up on my desk. And it was one that Gordon had given me a couple of years ago. So they can move matter. And they can contact us. And they can visit the house. They can visit the places that they've known and loved. And there's nothing to be afraid of. It's just a spirit. Okay, I guess that means I'm supposed to be done. Thank you very much.